How are you doing?
Yeah, fine.
My name is Christine. And your name is?
Around
Alright. Could you describe one of your typical work days for me?
my typical work days. Let's see. I hand out gear all day long. It's a very agonizing job.
What skills are required in your position from day to day?
You have to know what types of gear is needed for who, where all the gear goes, who comes in and gets what gear, how to fill out correct paperwork for what gear is coming in, what gear is going out.
What do you like most about what you do?
To be honest, I really don't like it. The only like I do have would be when I dermo gear.
Now, what do you actually do? Like, what's the main name of your job?
It's called a 3051 warehouse clerk.
And you're in the Marine Corps, right?
Yes,
How long have you been in for?
almost 2 years. November 29th will make 2 years.
Now, if I wanted to get in the field, what profession do I need to have?
You need to have a high school diploma. You need to have an ASVAB score of 31 or higher. And if you have those two requirements and you pass what they call a PFT, it's called a mock PFT, which you run it just to see if you're in shape to go to boot camp. And the PFT is a physical fitness test.
What parts of your job do you find challenging?
The parts of my job I find challenging: handing out gear to recruits.
Why would you say that?
I say that because recruits that are fresh on base do not know what any of the gear is called. So we have to break it down, what we call Barney style, just for them to understand what they need to get through basic training.
Are there any negatives to your work?
There are a lot of negatives.
Like,
When you work with people who don't appreciate the job that you're doing and you work twice as hard as everyone else.
what's hours?
The hours, my typical hours would be from 6 to 16:30. For those who don't know military time, that would be 4:30 in the afternoon.
How about what times are the toughest in the year?
The times that are toughest in the years will be our annual wall-to-wall.
Okay, what do you have to do for that?
And annual wall-to-wall would be where we count every piece of gear that we have on the base, which would include big packs, small packs. It's a lot of gear. Basically, all the gear that we give out, all the gear that we receive, we have to sit there and count it one by one. It takes at least a week, and we have 2 warehouses full of gear, plus what is called ISO containers full of gear.
Okay. What would you change about your job if you could?
What I would change about my job? I can honestly say I wouldn't change nothing about my job. I would just change the people that I work with.
Okay. How about, does the work involve any lifestyle changes, such as frequent travel or late night business maintaining?
The work does require that because when we do have our annual wall-to-wall, we do not get off at 4:30. Depending on how much we are trying to accomplish in one day, we might not get off till like 6, 7 o'clock at night.
Okay. So, explain to me, what do you enjoy about your job?
What do I enjoy about my job? Well, since I work on the base, the military base that I work on is the base where all recruits go through training to become Marines. I will honestly have to say yelling at the recruits. It's fun because being at the rank that I am, I really don't have much authority over people. So yeah, it's nice yelling at recruits.
How quickly is the field growing?
How quickly is the field growing? That's not too good. They are actually trying to downsize the field. So, yeah. Ever since the war ended, they've been trying to downsize the Marine Corps. But once another war kicks in, which I hope it never does, the numbers are going to increase very highly.
Okay. How did you get your job?
How did I get my job? I got my job through my ASVAB score. My ASVAB score was a 38, but they don't go off of your total score, they go off of your GT score. My GT score was like a 79, so I didn't qualify for that many job positions. I had to choose either open contract or 3051. And I chose 3051 because open contract, you can get any kind of job, and I didn't want to have a crappy job. And being at the fact that before I joined the Marine Corps, I worked in a warehouse, I knew the concept of working in a warehouse before I actually left to actually go be a Marine.
What's one job you would like to have other than the job you have?
The job that I would like to have other than what I do have would be, let's see. That's a tough question. I would like to be motor T.
What is that?
Motor T is basically a job where Marines work on tanks, they work on engines, they work on basically all of the ways the Marine Corps drives, their mode of travel, basically.
Okay. What is your exact title to the Marine Corps?
My exact title to the Marine Corps, what do you mean by that?
Like, what rank are you?
I am a E3, which would be a Lance Corporal.
Okay. How long does it take for you to pick up rank?
With that, it varies, because you can either choose to go on boards and get promoted meritoriously, or you can get promoted by your score. Your score overall that you rate in the Marine Corps.
What was your title when you first started here, working for the Marine Corps?
Same title.
Oh, when you started working?
When I actually got here and started working on Parris Island, I was an E2, which is PFC.
Okay. What kind of problems do you deal with?
The problems I deal with, the recruits. Those are the problems, the recruits.
No one else?
I wouldn't have to say no one else really, because I get along well with everyone that I work with, other than my staff NCO. My staff NCO is the only person I would choose not to work with ever again in my life. If I can honestly say, if he was my boss in the civilian world, I might shoot myself. Just because he is picky, he is demanding, it's his way or no way. And when you try to explain something to him, he says, oh, that sounds like an excuse to me. But when but what I don't understand is, you just asked the question, but then when I give you an answer, it sounds like an excuse. So what do you prefer me to do? Answer the question.